So they really do like everything from natural disasters to famine to purifying water and epidemics. Um, they're creating a huge impact with how many support projects they have, how big they are, and just how much support from like volunteers and donors they have. So a little bit of background is Samaritan's Purse is a non-denominational evangelical organization founded by Bob Pierce in 1970. They provide physical aid, but not only that, they also provide emotional aid and like spiritual aid through like stuff like therapies, Bible studies. Just a small quote from them. Our ministry is all about Jesus first, last, and always. They're also heavily inspired by the parable of the Good Samaritan. So just to summarize that, it was about a Jewish man who was robbed, beaten, and left to die. A Levite and a priest passed by, but just refused to help him. It was only until a Samaritan, which were a people hated by the Jews, he saw him and he like tended to his wounds, and not only that, offered to pay for his care and took him to an inn, and he was like, "Here, take money, and if it costs more, I don't care. Just help this man." And I think this is a very good text to live by, even if it is like removing the religious aspect to it. It's still like the willingness to help a person who hates you, I think is amazing. So, as I mentioned, Samaritan's Purse has like a ton of support projects. So they have like their children's ministry. So they give every December they go out and give toys for to many children in places where typically children won't have or have never had these kind of toys. They also have reconstruction. They have natural disaster response. They provide food to places that don't have it. They provide medical assistance of all kinds, and they're just an overall great organization that are not just limited to one emergency or disaster. They also they operate like all over the world, supporting over 100 countries. A few testimonies from a few people. There was a girl in Russia who she didn't have a father. Her mother was crazy. She killed her little sister at 7 months and then she would blame herself for everything that happened until she got a toy from Samaritan's Purse. It was this little yellow yo-yo, and it just reminded her of the love that God had for her, and that is what gave her the hope to continue until eventually she was adopted by the family in Texas. And then they also help people with cleft lip, and if you may not know, cleft lip is considered by their communities typically don't include people with cleft lip. They kind of reject them and throw them out of society. And Samaritan's Purse has helped prepare many pallets, which is great for them because they'll be able to continue living on their lives. They also have extensive outside support from volunteers and donors. They have international volunteers that fly out to places, and again, local volunteers that are just willing to help. They also have church contributions. So the church will set a goal and raise an offering for them, and that's also a great help. They also have a bunch of diverse volunteering opportunities. So everything from like medical to reconstruction to just going out and giving out food. It's also extremely easy to volunteer with Samaritan's Purse. All you have to do is literally go on their website and register. Of course, that's for like basic stuff, but if you want to volunteer in like medical, you obviously need some kind of degree for that. So there are other organizations that do similar disaster, house fires, stuff like that. They also provide, they're like a blood bank, and they provide training, so like CPR and first aid. They also focus on prevention assistance, so awareness, but I think Samaritan's Purse goes a little bit beyond that in the aspect that they're just so broad and they can help in every aspect of a natural disaster, whether that's like, or not just any natural, any disaster, whether that's like, for example, in an earthquake, they could have medical team care for anyone that was wounded, the reconstruction team, rebuild homes, any infrastructure that might have been damaged, along with any volunteers that would be willing to give out food to the people that need it during that time. Also, Team Rubicon is a natural disaster relief response, and they only focus on reconstruction and first aid, which again is I think a little more surface level than what Samaritan's Purse does. And I think that extra level to Samaritan's Purse I think just makes it stand out a little more compared to these two. So overall, Samaritan's Purse is a great organization, a nonprofit to support. I think some people also want to put that religious aspect as an excuse not to support this nonprofit. But I think if you put that aside, I think it's overall a great nonprofit to support just because like how much help they provide, and I think that just that religious aspect is what really holds people back, and I think that Samaritan's Purse does a really great job of incorporating that into there. But like I said, it's like, and that really shouldn't matter when what is more important is helping the people that need it. But again, they're just to recap, they have many support groups and many support projects. They have a huge global impact, and many people support them. So it's easy for them to just give out help. I think that all of this just kind of exemplifies Samaritan's Purse a little more, and yeah, I think it's all a great organization.
Any questions for me?
Does the religious aspect of it get in the way of helping people who don't follow the same religion as them?
They support whoever, it doesn't really matter, just as long as they're in need, support is given and it's offered.
Have you ever volunteered with this organization?
I haven't, but I would love to, honestly.
I believe my brother, I think I mentioned to you, he lives in Missouri, in Ann Arbor. His town is near a river, and it flooded really badly. It had like a 500-year flood, and his property was high enough that it was okay, but the whole town is just absolutely inundated. And this was a number of years ago, but Samaritan's Purse was able to reach members, and they came in, and they stayed and helped and cleaned up. Didn't matter who you were, what was going on, but it was just a really, really powerful experience, and a lot of volunteers from all over the state